Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome, Massenomics fans, to episode 188 of the Massenomics podcast. We are the lifting podcast about nada. First, let's start off with hearing from our sponsors for this episode. Today's show is brought to you by Spud Inc. The goal of Spud Inc. straps is to make products that support sports performance and help everyone achieve their training goals. They make products that last forever, won't bust your budget, and most importantly, leave no doubt about success when everything is on the line. Check them out online at spud-inc-straps.com. This episode is also brought to you by Hybrid Performance Method, your one-stop shop for all things fitness and online coaching. Whether your goals are training-related, nutrition and body composition-related, or both, Hybrid has a program for you. With dedicated and experienced coaches in each strength and fitness discipline, you can rest assured that you're in the best hands possible. Use code MASS in all caps for 5% off any training or nutrition memberships for the life of your membership. Visit hybridperformancemethod.com. Today's show is also brought to you by Lifting Large. Lifting Large is your one-stop online shop for powerlifters, strongmen, Highland Games athletes, CrossFit athletes, and anyone that lifts iron. Visit liftinglarge.com today. There's free shipping on any orders over $60, and 99% of those orders are shipped the same day that they are placed. Thank you to our sponsors. We actually really appreciate our sponsors, and we're excited that we're always excited that we have sponsors that we actually use and believe in.
Absolutely.
And not just we're not just sellouts over here. So that's what we do with sponsors. So this is episode 188. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Again, we do actually have a lot of stuff to we do. That's always like a running joke. We say we have a lot of stuff to talk about. Sometimes we don't have anything to talk about, but we just get through an hour, but
we have to actually intentionally limit this thing. Like, we have to shut down the talking at like 50 minutes, because if we don't start to shut things down at 50, we're going to hit like an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, so. And it's Wednesday night, and I have to go to bed eventually.
That is, do you think many people know we record these on Wednesday nights?
Yeah, that's our recording night, is Wednesdays.
It used to be like Sundays and Saturdays, but then you'd always miss what was going on in the weekend, and then you'd be kind of like 2 weeks behind.
This flow works pretty good, I think.
It does. It just, Wednesday turns into long days.
Yeah.
Like, get up, work all day, get done working, go to the gym, rush home to eat as fast as I can, and then set up, because podcasting, between talking about ideas, the actual recording, and getting done, podcasting typically takes from 7 until almost 10 o'clock at night.
It's 3 hours. It is just about 3 hours by the time we're...
Yeah, and so then I'm like, well, I mean... yeah, this is really fun. It's also still kind of a job too. So then when you think about it that way, it's like, oh, okay, well, we worked like 11 hours today, you know?
Right. Yes.
None. I would describe none of it as backbreaking or grueling, but
it
is still 11 hours of not sitting around doing nothing.
Right.
You know?
It is. That is true. I like the Wednesdays, though. Like you said at the very beginning, we did more of a backlog thing where we always were sitting on an episode or something, which is nice.
It was nice, because every once in a while we'd get, but there was also 3 of us, so we had way more schedules to work with too.
That's true. And we talk more now, I think, about maybe like what's going on in the world of powerlifting and strongman, like right now.
Yeah.
So when you hear this, it's usually a week or less behind of when we just said it.
Mm-hmm.
The other way, if we're still doing that, we'd be, the information is then 15 days old or something at that time. Yeah,
it kind of loses its relevance a little bit.
Right. Yes.
Our hot takes aren't.
Yes,
they don't even know if there are hot takes
like
anymore. There's someone else's hot takes.
They're a lukewarm take at that point.
Who knows at that point? We can tell people that we did have to skip the what's in the can. I didn't have anything new, and I didn't want to trick Tanner again this week, so we're just enjoying our own.
I probably would have struggled again too.
Yeah. So we just beat you guys to the punch here. We're not playing the game. We're just.
I want to think I would have known that this is peach pear, but I cannot say that for sure. I would have been able to get it.
I know.
I'm really thinking about it. I don't. I might have had a hard time guessing peach pear for like the 4th time.
Yeah, you probably would have said, is this lemon?
Yeah. Some of the LaCroix lemon though, because I asked, "Is this lemon or lemon?" And you know the fancy LaCroix, the
Yeah.
tall, skinny ones.
I've never had those ones.
Those ones. Someone sent an Instagram
There
DM
is
where
a
it was
lemon.
lemon on the, and I was like, "Oh, that must have been in my mind
And
somewhere."
I am a LaCroix drinker, but I'm not that fancy yet.
Those
so I
are like
haven't-
the fancy.
They
LaCroix.
are. Are they even? They're in a different shaped can, even, aren't
Yeah,
they?
they're taller and skinnier. Really
that-
dainty,
yeah.
fancy.
Very dainty.
We were talking about The Office earlier, and it's funny. I was watching The Office, and The Office quit airing in like what year? 2012 or
Probably around there. Yeah.
yeah. And someone on the show was drinking a
Really,
LaCroix. And I
I
was like,
for
huh.
sure. I mean, they've been around for what 40 years, or
Right,
something.
right. But in 2012,
but
did
I
you know
for
what it was?
sure did not know what one
No.
was then.
You know,
I don't know if they existed in my brain as being a thing until
a few years ago, or
yes, actually,
Yeah.
I do remember. I worked in an office. I saw someone bring one in one day, and that was the first time I in my head made a connection that I don't know what that can is right there.
right.
And now look at me, full blown addict over
Oh,
here.
Yep, that's right. That is right.
Wow. Tanner, there's one show that I've started watching that
Who wants to be a millionaire?
Regis Philbin is hilarious. No, that was a good show back in the day. Though. I remember being in fifth grade and thinking, this thing's the
Do you
real
remember
deal.
when the first guy won $1 million? I can't remember his name.
I
but
didn't watch the episode, but I do remember because he knew the answer too,
The,
didn't he?
the
Did he
million
just
dollar
call?
question. He hadn't used a single lifeline. On the $1 million question, he called his dad.
Yes,
and
that's-
he wasn't leading on that he was calling him. You know, when you watch the show, like you're like, oh shit, he doesn't.
But didn't
know
he
it.
say when he got on the phone, he's like, didn't he say like,
No,
Dad, I know
he
the answer?
gets him on the phone, and you don't know what he's thinking up to this point. He hasn't like let you into. He's played along and like made you think he doesn't know the answer. And he gets his dad on the phone, and he goes, "Dad, I'm just calling to let you know that I'm about to win $1 million on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire." And they talk for you get 30 seconds. They talk a little bit, and he hangs up, and he has and
then says,
everyone's
"Regis, give me that damn money."
Yeah, yes. Have you
Yeah,
ever seen Slumdog Millionaire?
I haven't actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's. Do you know what it's about?
No, I don't.
I don't know well enough. It's been so long since I've seen it. But the guy's on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and he's like, I don't know.
Aren't they in like India or
Yeah,
something?
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think India, but it might
Yeah.
be some other country that kind of seems.
But
like
it
India
does
to
have
me.
to do with like a game show like that.
He's on the show. And
Oh,
it's like,
I didn't know I had.
like it's all these. The show like follows the questions of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and they ask him a question, and he goes through his memory, like you live out his memory of why he knows the answer to this question, and it's like 15 separate circumstances that just all played out perfectly in his life that he knows the answer to all the questions because of this thing that this crazy experience this guy had in his life.
Because he has the most coincidental
Right?
life of all
Yeah,
time.
like it's the most coincidental series.
Did
of
that
things.
movie actually like win some awards?
I think it
I
did.
just remember it being hyped up quite
Yeah,
a bit.
yeah.
It was enough years ago now that
I would
don't-
actually like to watch. As we think about
Yeah.
it, I think it was a pretty interesting show. I think it's worth a watch, but it's been a while and maybe it sucks.
might not hold
yeah,
up to all
yeah.
that. But what I was going to say, Tanner, is on HBO there's a new series called Watchmen, which technically isn't new. There was a Watchmen
Yeah.
movie, I don't know, 8 years ago maybe.
Okay.
And then there's a comic book that's existed for a very long time. But
Sounds familiar.
I
to me.
have enjoyed. There's 3 episodes out now. I have enjoyed all 3.
Okay.
Even to the point where I knew my wife. And like I explained it to her. She goes, "No, I won't like that." I started watching it without her. She hopped in the middle of one of the episodes. She goes, "Why didn't you just wait for me to watch this?" I said, "This is the show I explained you wouldn't like."
Yeah.
She goes, "Oh no, I do like this. This is cool." So,
Uh-huh.
so it's an entertaining one, and it's not often that I catch a show where I actually have to wait week to week. So
Ooh, I don't like that. Though.
I know that is not the fun part of it.
No, and then let alone that, wait till you have to wait for a season.
Oh.
Then
I
you
guess-
forget of what was the show about?
Like to me, Westworld's the big one with that right now because they're gonna. I don't think the 3rd season of Westworld comes out until like next year, but I for sure hardly remember. And it was like
anything.
I already remember those shows were like getting so far. Like you guys are just trying to be smart now.
Yeah, yeah. I did watch the El Camino.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
What did?
I
did,
liked it.
Did it take you
is-
right back to
Yes,
being in
yes.
Breaking Bad?
It did so much. But it is funny, that scene. It's towards the end of the movie. They cut back to when Walter and Jesse are in
that cafe.
and it's like the old Jesse. And it's like they've really changed this character because you forget how much he talked like the way he talked before and how
the
much more
way Jesse did.
the way how much more immature Jesse was in the
like
beginning
just
of the
so much
show.
more like an obnoxious teenager.
Right,
yeah.
right. And it's like, oh man, he's not like that anymore. Like he's a changed man now,
Yeah, they did change his character. I actually think I want to say when I was reading after I got
I guess was that a spoiler? I didn't say anything spoilerish, did I?
I don't think that's really spoiler.
It's not really
I
relevant.
don't think so. No. I'm not just saying. I really don't think that was. But
no.
I believe when I got done, I was reading a few things on El Camino. I think I read that initially in season 1 Jesse wasn't going to exist after season 1. I don't know if they're going to kill him off or if he was just going to not be a character anymore.
Okay.
But because of how good their chemistry was, they kept him around and around and around. And I think it was the right move.
Yeah.
looking
Yes, obviously.
back on things.
Yes. That is a good movie though. And as I just thought about this now, the guys at Lifting Large said that we talked about Better Call Saul. Mm-hmm. They said we need to watch that because it is really good. So I was like, maybe I will try that out one of these days.
It's on Netflix, isn't it?
It's on Netflix,
Okay.
I think, yeah. But they said it's really good, that it needs to be watched.
It's just quite a few seasons, isn't it?
I think there's probably several out by now.
That's always the thing I think about with shows. It's like, God, am I ready to make that investment? 'Cause
Right.
it's not just like, oh, we're going to watch this 8-episode miniseries. It's
Right.
You're in it for the long haul.
Yes.
But then again, what else do I have to do, right?
If it's not that show, it's going to be. I mean, there's going to be at some point in time over the course of a week that you're going to sit down and just want to watch some television.
There might be.
Yeah.
There's a good chance there will be. Tanner, my notes are jumping around on me. here,
Yes.
so. I know what I wanted to talk about here. I've been wanting to bring this up for weeks now, and I always forget. The gym has, so there's a few pieces of equipment, but the thing I've always wanted to talk about is we have 2 Pioneer cut belts.
Yes. The gym
And-
purchased a couple. The
and
stock Pioneer belts. So.
Those things are the real deal.
Yeah.
Like, they're just really, really good, especially when you consider what were they, like shipped and everything.
I purchased them on the sale that they're one sale a year basically. And I think we got the stock light brown ones, which is like the little bit thinner, but the thinner between the two stock
the 10
ones.
millimeter.
Yeah. And I think they were like $70 each.
And that is so cheap.
I bought like a medium and a large.
Yep.
Yeah.
And both in that kind of that raw leather.
Yeah.
And they have the
Pioneer.
the embossed Pioneer across the back.
Yep.
And they're just they look really, really good.
Yeah, I like the color and the.
They
and
just
I like
look.
the Pioneer
They
logo
look
and everything.
classic.
Yeah,
they
yes,
have a
they do.
super clean look to them. Like the whole thing is just. It looks like timeless and the real deal, and you feel like you're holding this quality piece. Like
Yep.
we have probably a belt from every major manufacturer down in the gym. I mean,
Yes.
there's a lot of Inzer belts.
there's a lot of Inzers.
Quite
There's
a few
a couple
Pioneer
Best
belts. Couple Best belts. There's some
Best belts are nice too.
Is there Titan belts down there too?
Yes. Yep. I'm pretty sure. Then there's some other.
There's a Strong belt.
Yeah.
And then there's kind of,
There's
a
some-
few like off-brand belts.
Yeah. There's one
just,
strong belt.
or just
there.
not premier belts, you could say.
Right.
And they're all fine. They all work.
Yes.
We're just really
We're
getting
just
into
snobs on
if you can really like look and compare. But when you look at the Pioneer one, pretty much all those other belts, this is the thing. They're going to cost you $120-ish,
Yeah.
and then give or take shipping. So they're going to be anywhere between $110 and $140, and then take anywhere between 2 and 8 weeks to arrive at your door.
Yep.
This belt was $70, and it showed up the next week, correct?
Yep. It was
And-
really fast.
Those other belts are almost twice the price. Do they have twice the performance? Not even close. You could make the argument they have worse performance even
Right,
because
yeah.
they're not a Pioneer cut.
Yeah.
But I've just been really, really impressed with the quality of those belts, like how nice they are.
Yeah. One of the guys, so the Pioneer cut, you've used them then. One of the guys at the gym, this was an exact quote that he told me like yesterday. He tried him out and he goes, I thought the Pioneer cut thing was kind of a gimmick, but now that I've used it, that's I like that so much better now.
I know, and it's
Like it's
weird,
not a
like,
gimmick. It is
'cause-
actually.
Because I had the only belt I've ever bought is 5 years ago or so, before I even knew Pioneer existed.
Yeah.
I had bought an Inzer lever belt because then, if you ask people what belt company do you buy from, I think 8 people out of 10 would have said insert.
Yeah.
That was just
that's
like,
what I had.
I didn't even know a different company that existed then.
I think we have the same belt.
I
don't
think
we?
so. Yeah. Yeah. Just the black, I think 13 millimeter lever
Yep.
belt. And I got it. I'm happy with it. It's a great belt, but where I started to see maybe room for wanting something different is Ryan, my brother, he was the first person I ever knew to get a Pioneer belt. He got the 10 millimeter red suede, single prong belt.
Yep.
And I started using that thing for deadlifts, and I'm like, damn, I really, really like this belt.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I like my belt for squatting to be almost as tight as possible.
Right.
Like to the point of where it almost feels like it's wrecking me. It's so tight.
Yep. And not so much on
but
deadlifts.
that for deadlift,
No.
I can't get into like my proper deadlift position with a belt that tight.
I think a lot of people are the same way.
Yeah, and
Like
yeah,
that-
and yes,
right.
and I don't think that is an uncommon belief or way people that do. I think a lot of people do it that way.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like my belt on deadlift is loose, but it's a notch maybe too looser than squats.
Yep.
And it does make a difference, and it just feels better, and the whole lift is better.
Yep.
And so that's how I had been using belts for like the past 2 years. I would use my lever for squat. I would use Ryan's for deadlifting.
Yep.
And then this Pioneer cut one shows up. It's like, okay, let's give it a try. And the thing was always kind of like it was always like I had a hard time either getting a single prong tight enough the way I liked it, or if I actually really did get it to where I wanted, it's like it just wasn't quite right for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And that Pioneer cut because what is it, 1/2 inch holes instead of 1 inch holes?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's weird how that 1/2 inch
Matters.
makes the difference.
Yeah. Every half inch matters.
It's probably more than anything. It's probably just a comfort thing that turns into a mental thing.
Right.
But it makes a difference,
Yep.
and I love it.
So one of the guys at the gym also bought a 13 millimeter stock, and it's really nice.
The black
too.
one.
Yeah.
I saw that, and that
It
thing
is
is
really
like
nice.
it's like a mean looking belt.
Yeah. Now I kind of want to get a couple of those for the gym too, and it's just
Because that one is the one that's all blacked out, and they
Yeah.
even have that one even has on the belt loop the embossed Pioneer logo on it
Yeah.
too. Kind of one extra little touch. It is a cool looking belt. It's just the branding is just subtle enough that it's not like screaming like, "Hey, look, I got a Pioneer belt."
Right.
But it's the real deal.
yes, it is.
So that is our belt review. If you need a belt, just get the Pioneer.
Yeah.
Get a Pioneer belt.
And also, I don't really care about I mean, I get where people want it and stuff, but the personalized thing doesn't mean as much to me. It doesn't matter to me as much. So like
you're saying like personalized with like a design, or
right, and
something.
like
Yeah.
a name or something. But like the stock ones just look so nice. I'm like, well, I don't know. It's like I just clutter it up if I put like a bunch of my stuff on it. You know?
I don't care. At this point, the only reason I would get one personalized if I wanted something Massenomics on
Right,
it.
yes, that
But
would
even
be
then,
the-
I always like my stuff to be kind of subtle. Like I don't like it to be like yelling.
But it could be, I suppose you could buy get the same leather as the stock one and just have it a little, an embossed.
Yeah, you could do like an embossed
M,
Massenomics
yeah,
of some
something.
kind. Like,
Yeah, right.
there's definitely ways to do it. I mean, you
Right.
could even do like tone on tone embroidery with
Right,
like
right.
there's a lot of ways, but
What they're doing
really
with
like
the stock
I
ones
like-
really look good,
Yeah, and I
yes.
think that was an awesome business move too. I mean, maybe it doesn't make a ton of money on it, but
I think
again,
they do. I think
think they
it's-
move a lot of those things?
I think a lot. I think that the once they figured that out and started it, they're like, damn, why were we not doing? I think it's
Probably
one of those things. Where they said,
because
why were we
because a lot
not
of people
doing
in this day and age want instant gratification,
Right.
And with that, before that, the best you could get would be like you'd get a simple belt, which would maybe take them 2 weeks to make,
Yeah.
and then another week to ship.
Yeah.
Where now you can almost get that instant gratification with getting your belt the next week.
I like that. I mean,
Yeah.
people. That's the way. That's the world we live in now, where you just want it right away.
Well, that's just what's to be expected
Actually,
almost.
I related to that. Dave Tate was talking about how when Rogue came into the market, they completely disrupted it. He said he agrees that it's for the better now, but he looks at Rogue as that would be one of his competitors because he sells equipment.
absolutely,
And he
yeah.
said the standard before them was 4 to he actually was saying like an 8 to 12 week turnaround time. If someone ordered a piece of equipment,
Really?
it was just 8 weeks was a standard for mostly all equipment manufacturers. And Rogue came in and said, we're going to ship that, within the next week. So then the other people had to be like,
You
well,
had
wait,
to, like,
we have to do that
you
too.
had to bring your A game
Right,
now because
right.
you don't have an excuse anymore.
But he really he said the standard before that was, I think the number was 8 weeks would be.
Damn.
And now it's like, if you're going to go buy something, you're like,
Well-
what's taking 8 weeks? Like,
Well, and that's
I
what
want it now.
I moved a few months ago.
Yep.
Got a new house, and with the new house, some new furniture was needed, and that's when you forget about that world of. We've seen the range. You can go all the way from Wayfair, where Wayfair is shipping stuff for free. Like you can order something from Wayfair and have it for free on a Friday.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, this stuff weighed a lot and it shipped here for free and it was fast. Or you can also go to a furniture store and be quoted anywhere from 6 to 10 weeks for something to show up, and you just think like, how in this day and age does anything take 6 to 10 weeks?
Right.
And you just assume they're just sitting on orders to bundle so that they're only paying for like one freight charge.
Right.
But it's really, really annoying as a customer that just because nothing else is like that anymore, everything is basically outside of 2 days. It's long now,
Yeah.
2 days is the standard.
Yeah, it is.
And I think for the most part, Massenomics shipping pretty much falls in there too, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it does. We ship pretty quick for the most part.
Yeah.
Barring like vacations.
Yeah.
And then I get anxiety if I'm like out on vacation. I see a lot of orders coming. I'm like, oh, damn it. This is also going to suck ass when I do get home. And
Yep,
there's
I'm
like,
really paying for this one right now.
I like, if an order comes in, I like to get it done and out of my queue. And I'm like, caught up.
That is off my shoulders.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And when we're on like a 5-day vacation and they're piling up, I'm like, oh, I'm going to pay for this when we get home.
Yep. So that's why you told your wife, you said, we just can't go on
No,
vacation
we're
anymore.
never leaving
It's
again.
done.
Yeah. The other equipment that we got that actually just came in today has not even been unboxed. So we'll probably talk more about this in maybe next week's episode.
Mm-hmm.
But just as I mentioned that we got it was a Rogue Ohio deadlift bar from the Boneyard. So it is in the Scratch and Dent Club. The tube was sitting in my garage. I haven't even opened that up to look at it, but it apparently has something in it. But got that for like $200, and it's
This just sounds way too cheap
Yes,
for like
yes.
it's
high
not a
quality
specialty bar, but it's not.
Some
It's not
would
your
call it a specialty
Yeah, it's not
bar,
your
yeah.
standard power bar.
Right,
Like
right.
you just always. I think maybe it was like this until a few years ago before Rogue started putting these things out. Like
Yeah.
a deadlift bar, could you get a deadlift bar for under like $350?
No.
You
I
know,
don't think so.
especially because how many people made there was
Now there's a
Oki.
few other competitors in there too, but
even if you go back 4 years,
It would
there's
just be Oki and
Texas.
Texas. That would be
Was
it.
there any other deadlift bar at
I
all?
don't think so. If
Yeah.
there was, it was very uncommon. I think it's just those two. Yeah, so, and this is the bare steel one, so it will be more prone to rusting, but not hugely concerned about that. And also not concerned about it being a Boneyard bar because other than the end caps being different,
They actually do put different
I
end
think
caps in it?
I haven't seen one in person, but on the site they say Boneyard bars.
Oh,
on it.
really?
And I bet they do that so that people don't.
Think that this is like the quality associated.
Right.
That makes sense.
But everyone says that the difference is always so minimal, anyways.
And
that
here's the
it's-
thing: after you use a bar,
Right.
after a bar is left in a gym
Right.
for a month,
Yes.
it is. I would probably even say after a bar is left in a gym for a week, it's now a Boneyard bar.
In our gym, it is. If you,
And that's not to say that people are assholes.
no,
but it gets put through the paces.
Well, if we got 40 people and we got 30 people that lift pretty consistently, it's going to get used way. If it was just my personal garage gym, I would consider more about not buying a Boneyard. I actually still wouldn't care, but I could see the thought of not.
it just like I can invest in this because I know I'm going to take care of it.
I'm the only
and
one
I'm
that's
going
going to use it.
watching
I'm going to meticulously wipe it down every time I use it, and I don't have to worry about anyone else doing something dumb with it. But there, I'm like, no. Now I'll worry less when it does get that first scratch, and but it's like, well, that's
I'm
gonna
coming out ahead here.
Right.
Yep.
So we've got that. Hasn't been used yet. Excited to use that. So that'll be our second deadlift bar in the gym, and we do have 2 dedicated deadlift platforms. So it'd be nice for each to have their own
Dedicated deadlift bar.
Right. So we don't get as much of the people.
And the other bar we have is the Oki deadlift bar.
Yes, we have the Oki. So still need to get the Texas for the perfect triad.
Yep.
The other thing we got sitting in a box in my garage right now is the Rogue Echo bike that was on the month-long Matt Black Friday Rogue sale.
And it wasn't like half off or
No,
anything.
it's like $50 off. It was
Yeah.
like less than 10% off, but
Which, whatever.
Right,
Sure.
and we were talking about it. So the day they started on sale November 1st, and didn't know before that, didn't know how much it was going to be off. I already knew I wanted to buy one, so I was like, well, I want to buy one anyway, so I'm going to get it while it's on sale.
Yeah, and we kind of mentioned, I think it was just like Coop at Garage Gym Reviews had just
Yeah.
said like Rogue is going to be having deals, and I saw a picture of a
and you sent
Echo
that.
bike, and I sent it to you, and it was like, oh no, it's on sale the next day.
Yeah.
I still never saw it pop up anywhere else. Like
I don't think I really
I don't
did
know
either.
how they're promoting these
Well,
deals.
And Coop made the comment that these will probably go fast.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, shit, if they're going to go fast, I knew the sale started at 8. I said, I'm going to be sitting there waiting at 7:55 so I can buy it. And all their sales all their hot deals started at 8 a.m.
Okay.
And I was waiting, ready to put it in my cart, on the product page, waiting for 8 to hit and the deal to kick in. And the site just went to pure shit at 8.
That is surprising that even
It crashed.
That even a site of that size and like the
Oh.
resources they have, that still happens to
It
them.
took 45 minutes until I could buy it. It crashed for 45 minutes.
Wow.
Though you could not, and I had it on my phone and was trying my phone. So for 45 minutes, pretty much, I was sitting there like refreshing
two
closing, re-going in,
Uh-huh.
and it would pop up on one of them where like, oh, I could see the sale. It's $50 off. It's for $7.25 and free shipping. And then I'd try to click on it, and then it would crash.
Yeah.
And then I go to my other thing and be like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
And then
the whole
sale
time it's
would
like
go-
nothing ever
Right.
works.
And then the sale would go away on one of them.
Oh, it
and I'd
would.
put it in my cart and the sale wouldn't be showing up. And I'd be like, don't want to. And then I'm like, well, should I just buy it and then be like, hey. Because I'm worried that they're going to run out.
Yep. And hey, like reimburse me or
Right.
Credit me for
Yeah.
that.
And I was like, I thought about it and I was like, I don't want to do that. And then after about 25, 30 minutes in, I thought, what am I doing? That this is, I don't know,
I'm working
$40 off, and I've already wasted 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And by that time, I'm like, well, it's just a matter of pride.
Yeah,
that
it's the principle
yes.
of the matter at this point.
I'm getting this for the sale price, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how much more time. I was too much sunk cost at that
Yep.
time that there's no turning back, and eventually got it. And I thought, ha, suckers, I got one of them. And
yeah,
I
I
don't.
showed you guys.
And a bunch of the stuff did run out, and I don't see that the Rogue Echo bikes have ever run out.
Mm.
So I bet they probably had 30,000 of these things sitting there.
just sitting, waiting,
Yeah.
ready to go. Well, one of the interesting things looking at the sale is that you could not only buy a Rogue Echo bike, you could buy a 2-pack, a 5-pack, and I believe a 10-pack
Yeah.
as well
You
too.
buy a 10-pack of rowers for like $8,000. Oh, I'm like, damn.
That's some rower money right
Yeah.
there.
But so the Echo bike was $725 plus shipping, and everyone says it's the best. We're gonna find out.
And I think we talked about this briefly on the podcast. When I picked up, you purchased that used Cerakote Rogue Ohio Power Bar.
Yep.
When I picked that up, the garage gym I picked that up from, the guy had a Rogue Echo bike, and I knew that the Echo bike existed. It was on my radar. It was on my radar just for the
Yeah.
fact that it was a thing, not in like, oh, I want to use that or I would ever want anything to do
Yeah.
with that. And it was in this guy's garage, and I was like, oh, that looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
And when he said, he's like, no, go ahead, sit on it, try it out. I'm like, you sure? He's like, oh yeah, trust me, you're gonna love it. And I was like, whoa, this thing is legit. Like,
Yeah.
it's not just like a little Airdyne bike.
Right.
It's
built like a tank.
It
right?
is
Yeah.
built like a tank. And that kind of like flipped the switch on me. Like, damn, this is something worth looking into. And I think a cardio, especially in this part of the country where starting
Now.
pretty much right now,
Yeah.
you can't go outside for the next 6 months. So it gives you something to, I don't know, get the blood flowing a little bit
Right.
outside of like a heavy squat set,
And it was Coop when Coop from Garage Gym Reviews
And he did
the
give it
tour.
his praise, too.
And he said what we were lacking is a couple of good pieces of cardio equipment.
He did
So
say
here's,
that.
here's one of them.
Yep.
I would like to get a good Concept 2 rower in the mix at
I
some point in
think that'd
time
be cool too, yeah.
Might take a little while because they're just how expensive. Like
they just don't
That's
go
the
down.
part that sucks is that this really high quality cardio equipment is so expensive. Like I would rather get like 3 new barbells instead. But
That
also
or-
at this time the utility, like the marginal utility of us getting another barbell.
At this point, it's almost just like people are just like, well, there's a bar there. I get like it doesn't even mean anything. It's like lost its value.
right.
Like a lot of people won't even know there is a new one.
No, I mean we have so many now, and but I like there was a good case for needing, not needing, but like there's a good case for wanting another deadlift bar, so I could justify it. But like for the most part, at this point, the utility of getting a really good exercise bike, there's a lot more value overall for the gym.
Yeah,
than
and
that.
it starts to expand like the possibilities,
Right,
of what you
yes.
can do with your workouts
yes,
too.
Yes, exactly. So we'll give our real review on those once we actually unbox them and use
Yeah,
them.
I'm excited for it.
Yes, it looks like there's some assembly required on the bike because the box that it's sitting in does not look like there's a full assembled bike inside of it.
You just didn't get this bubble wrapped package
I
that
hope
looks like
it's-
a bike.
Yeah, I hope it's one of those tents that you just like throw and it like flips open.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah.
Oh, there's a bike over there now. Yeah, that'd be cool. But you did mention though. You said Dave Tate he said that Rogue changed the game on shipping.
Yes, he specifically
These
said
shipped
that
pretty
Rogue-
fast, didn't they?
Yeah,
And I know this isn't a rack or anything,
Yeah.
but it's
from ordering to at home in my garage was 5 days.
that's pretty good.
And I wasn't really expecting
what, a
that.
130-pound bike and a
Yeah.
45-pound bar.
Yep. The box on the bike is pretty heavily damaged. I don't blame Rogue for that. I assume that's a UPS problem. But,
Probably. Is that what it ships? UPS.
Yes, I'm pretty sure those are both UPS. Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure the guy's like, oh, this asshole.
Yeah, because there's been quite a few things that have been, quite a few bars and
Like that
plates
has to.
and,
If you've been, it'd be interesting to talk to a person that's like worked UPS for like 15 years.
Yeah.
And be like, how has that changed? Like, has there been way more heavy shit showing up like
Right.
lately?
Right.
And I would imagine between Amazon and like fitness and things like that, and then just e-commerce online in general.
yeah,
the
because of e-commerce
packages
in general.
you deal with have to be so different now compared to 15
sure.
years ago,
Well,
maybe even 6 years
I've
ago.
got to think. I don't really know much about it. I've never really looked into it, but like UPS and FedEx have to be getting rich off of the change in e-commerce. Like in Amazon, like in
I don't know how
in
they couldn't. Well, the USPS isn't though. I think because I think that was the thing is like UPS and FedEx charge a certain amount, and so like well we can just dump everything on USPS now, and I think the USPS is like getting like destroyed by Amazon because they're under government
Right,
it's a
right.
It's
Well,
essentially a
they're
government
not gonna
agency, so they have
run
rules
well
on
no matter what.
Well, yeah,
It's a
and they
government,
yes that,
that's-
and
they're
then
not a private enterprise.
Yep, and then they have rules on they can only move up a certain percent each year. So it doesn't matter if like the world changes and like all right, we got
Yeah.
to double our packaging
Yeah.
costs. Like
Right.
I think they're like under law that they can only go up a certain percent.
Right.
And so UPS and FedEx can keep just kind of doing their thing and let USPS be the ugly
Suck it up.
stepchild
Yeah,
here.
Right.
You know. Logistics of fitness.
Yeah. So we got in on those early Black Friday deals. So that seems to be a trend now that I see Titan Fitness has these like all
Have
month
they had some?
long.
So
all
yeah,
month
so okay,
long
so
sales.
that is the big thing is so we're in November. A lot of people know this time of year, especially in fitness, that there you will find deals on things. Like
Yes.
those do exist.
Yes.
Massenomics will have some coming have some coming later in the month. But Rogue did be the industry leader saying we're doing Black Friday deals all month long.
Right.
I guess I didn't pay super close attention, but I didn't hear of anyone else being like, yeah, we're also doing them all
Right.
month long. Like
They
it came after Rogue said it.
And Rogue still, you can, if you look on the hot deals, they still have a bunch of stuff that's not going to go on sale until the day after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so basically just saying we have a month of sales coming.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
So
yes.
they're kind of keeping you paying attention. But
Yeah.
but now as a reaction, a lot of other companies are.
Yeah, I see Titan, of course.
And I didn't see, and I didn't know that they even had anything.
Yeah, they do. Their stuff is always on sale, though. Anyways, that's like their
Yeah.
price. They're like J.C. Penney's or who's classically like that. I don't know. Not Walmart.
Well, just like any department store,
Right,
it's just
right.
everything's always 40% off.
Right. Yeah, like
know?
the Herbergers.
Or even most furniture
yeah.
stores. Like
Yes.
you can't go into a furniture store and buy something at full price. Like,
Yeah.
it's not possible.
Overall, I appreciate more like what Walmart does. Just
This is just the price.
Right,
This is just
yes,
what it is. Like,
yes.
hey, let's not play this game with each other.
yeah.
Let's just.
But I still get suckered into the
Yeah.
art of the feeling good about a deal.
it's just in this
still,
day and age, it's so much easier to check online and be like, is this a deal or not?
Right. Yeah.
You know, like that novelty is, it's hard to stick to that.
Well, in real life, I so rarely go into a store to make a purchase like that anymore that it just doesn't come up
yeah.
like it used to for everyone, probably.
Yeah. Yep. But anyways, though, if you are interested in saving some cash on some fitness equipment,
Yep.
This is the month to be paying attention.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what Kabuki does on day
Oh
after
yeah, because
Thanksgiving,
they've
some-
always done some pretty
they do
decent
some
sales
good,
too.
we've bought some stuff on their sale, maybe the Duffalo bar and
Didn't we get the power bar?
the power bar. I might have got both at the same
I
time.
think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was because they do a thing where the more bars you buy,
The more
percent off you
Yeah.
get. And I do.
And then you said I can't afford to not buy
Right,
this.
it's like literally costing me money to not purchase
yeah,
it.
yeah.
But I do really want the Transformer bar and the Cadillac, or not the Cadillac bar, not the Cadillac bar,
Hex
the
bar,
yeah,
the
trap bar. Yeah,
that trap bar does look really cool.
yes, and I want both of those, but they're both all Kabuki stuff is priced pretty premium. I mean, it's really good. The stuff their power
but
bar is awesome.
It's not like something you just do a quick little
No,
impulse. It's not
no.
a $200 boneyard
No,
bar.
exactly. Yes.
It's a much higher price tier than that.
Right. But if you want to check out sales and stay up, stay up on what's going on, Garage Gym Reviews is a good one to follow. He's kind of got the market cornered on having the
I
up to
would
date
say
sales.
that
I
is
think
the source.
Yes, for sure.
So yeah, if you're not following him, you are missing out.
That's right.
Tanner, let's do some ads.
Ooh, ads. As you're getting those ads ready, I would say this isn't one of our Black Friday deals, but the camo Eagle hoodie sweatshirt that I'm wearing right now is on sale. It's like $7 off of our normal price, and there's no code necessary for that. So you can
get in there and get
snag
it.
one of these for just like barely over $30, and it's a really nice hooded
It's
sweatshirt too.
really like that hoodie.
Yeah.
Is the hoodie that companies sell for $60+
Right.
dollars.
If you buy this and you get this, you'll be like, this is a sweet hoodie for $30.
No, it is a very good quality hoodie. So
And it's got this sweet non-Nazi related logo on it. Someone DM'd the other day and they wanted to buy this, but they just wanted to make sure that it didn't have any Nazi affiliation. And I was thinking, I'm not going to tell you it does if it did. Like that was my thought. I was like, I wouldn't say that it did, even if it did, but I was like, no, it doesn't.
yeah, it doesn't.
No.
But also I get why you're confused because armies have used an eagle
Right. It's just
insignia of some kind for ever.
Right. Also, our Curl Hard shirt is on sale. No code necessary on that. You can get that for like under $20 on the Curl Hard shirt. Limited quantity of those.
And if you're a 4X, there's maybe one deadlifter tank top waiting for you.
3X.
3X, okay.
If you're a 3X, you can get the deadlifter tank top for like $15 or something.
That one's just been it's just been
like
waiting
two of
for
those
it's just been waiting for a 3X.
Yeah.
The lift tanker,
gone.
the lift tank,
Completely gone.
we didn't have any problem with that, but these just waiting for that 3X special someone to come along
and to get a really good deal.
Yeah.
You'd probably buy, I think there might be two, so you could get like just buy both of them.
one for nice and then one to keep nice to wear around and one for the gym.
That's right.
That's how you should do it.
One for going out.
One for going out, exactly. All right. Today's show is brought to you by Lifting Large. Lifting Large is your one-stop online shop for powerlifters, strongmen, Highland Game athletes, CrossFit athletes, and anyone that lifts iron. They have over 2,100 training tools from the top brands like Titan Support Systems, ER Equipment, Spud Inc., Skull Smash, ProLock Collars, Kabuki Strength, Texas Bars, Pioneer Belts, and more than 15 other manufacturers. Lifting Large has been serving strength athletes around the world through their online store for over 15 years. Owners Mike and Teal Ottoman have over 55 years of experience competing in powerlifting, strongman, and Highland Games. They hold multiple world and American records, so you can rest assured knowing the products they carry are the best in the industry. Visit liftinglarge.com today. There is free shipping on any orders over $60, and 99% of orders are shipped the same day they are placed. Listeners of the Massenomics podcast can save 20% on Lifting Large branded items. Just use discount code MASS20 at checkout. That's MASS20 at checkout to save 20% on Lifting Large branded items. Place your orders at liftinglarge.com today, and you can follow them on Instagram at liftinglarge.com. That's liftinglarge.com.
And I know Lifting Large said that they do also have some Black Friday deals coming up. So you can subscribe to their newsletter if you want to stay up to date on what those deals are. We don't have any inside info on what their Black Friday deals are, but stay tuned for whatever those might be.
Mm-hmm. The Massenomics podcast is also brought to you by Spud Inc. and the Swing Set Straps. These straps make you feel like you're doing yoke runs after a few too many drinks on the weekend. The Spud Inc. Swing Set Straps turn any regular or specialty bar into a yoke that won't take up space in your home gym. They're designed to be even more challenging than a traditional yoke. The swinging weights will test your stabilizer muscles like never before. And with a maximum capacity of 800 pounds, you won't ever need a traditional yoke to get your strongman training in. They're easily carried in a gym bag, and the swing set straps can also be used for a variety of exercises and variations, acting as weight releasers on the squat, adding an extra challenge to your overhead press, or serving as chain holders for your bench press. No matter how you like to train, you'll find something new with the swing set straps. And just a warning, the first use of the swing set straps may induce a walk similar to a late Saturday stumble, so watch yourself.
They will. Have you used them before?
I actually have never used it. I've seen you guys using them.
Yeah.
I've never used them before.
They will definitely make you have maybe more than just even the first time you use them. I don't know that it ever gets too much easier than that.
It's a different workout for sure compared to a traditional yoke. No doubt about that.
It's very challenging.
Check out Spud Inc. online for the swing set straps and other great products at spud-inc-straps.com, and be sure to follow them on Instagram at Spud Inc. Straps. This episode is also brought to you by Hybrid Performance Method. If you've been training without a coach and have been looking for a competitive edge, remember to check out hybridperformancemethod.com. Hybrid has 15 different strength and fitness programs covering everything from powerlifting and strongman to gymnastics and general fitness, all included in one training membership. That's not all. Hybrid also offers one-on-one personalized nutrition coaching that uses lifestyle habits and a flexible approach to shape your nutrition plan around your current lifestyle, instead of turning your lifestyle upside down in order to support unsustainable habits that will only work in the short run the way most programs do. If you're ready to take your training, nutrition, or both to the next level, use code MASS in all caps for 5% off membership to all programs for the life of your membership. Thank you to Hybrid, Spud Inc., and Lifting Large for sponsoring this show.
And as long as we're talking about hybrid performance, last couple of weeks I asked if anyone out there has any good testimonials that has used hybrid for either nutrition or training coaching. And we've got a couple now. A couple good submissions. So I was thinking we read them all, but might be better to just read one and then have
maybe save it.
Right.
Save it. I like that. I like that.
So I'm going to randomly pick one of the ones that we have.
Reach into the hat.
Yes. So today's hybrid testimonial comes from Jay Lowry. And I did verify with these people that they're all right with us.
If this was Amazon, it would say verified buyer.
Yes, verified buyer. Jay Lowry. He said, "Hey, I'm a big fan of your guys' podcast, content, and clothing."
He said, "Whoa, we wanted a hybrid review, not Massenomics."
And I was like, "But we'll take it.
Yeah.
We'll take it." I've also been using Hybrid Performance Method for my training for the last 5 to 6 months. So he's been using their training program. I'm a little under 2 weeks out from a meet here in Des Moines. And your guys' podcast is a big reason I decided to compete. So this is like a double whammy testimonial.
I'm liking this, yeah.
It's like Massenomics hybrid.
Yeah.
Your guys' podcast is a big reason I decided to compete. Their programming has helped me be accountable and increase strength in the 3 lifts, as well as overall body composition and general fitness. And that seems to be something that people say a lot with hybrid, is not only are they getting stronger, but they're improving their body composition.
I think, yes, I that is the impression I get too, is that the body composition is the big one with a lot of the photos that I see.
Right. He says, I don't even get your lucrative 5% discount, and I would still say it's well worth the money. So at full price, he says it's worth it. So it's definitely worth it if you use our 5% discount. Here, and then he sent a video. Here's my final heavy deadlift of prep at 620 pounds in the deadlifter tee and some hybrid tights.
Wow.
So this guy is on the ball.
That is a real fan right there.
I'll share his deadlifting video on our Instagram page as well, but that was from Jay Lowry.
Awesome.
That was really good.
Yeah, thanks for that, Jay.
Yeah, I'll just, as a teaser for next time, the next one is also a very good testimonial. Just that's a pretty big.
They talk about Massenomics even more.
I don't know if he talked about his Massenomics as much, but as far as hybrid's concerned, it's a pretty
okay.
impressive.
Well, we
stuff
can
going
let
on.
that slide too.
Right. So that was cool. So if you we'll take more of those. If you got a testimony on hybrid, we'll we'll read about that on the air as well.
Or if you have a Massenomics testimonial too.
Just send in your testimonials,
He
like
doesn't even
how we
have-
changed
like
your
we
life.
used to always ask for podcast testimonials. We'll just take Massenomics
Yes,
testimonials.
just Massenomics in general.
And you don't even have to deal with sending them through that pesky Apple Podcast interface. You can just DM directly to Massenomics.
Just let us know how we just vastly changed your life for the better. Mm-hmm. How we dramatically, improved your life. Mm-hmm. Very dramatically.
Well, we know it's dramatic. So,
Yeah.
but you can still tell us how dramatic it is, though.
Yeah. The podcast reviews, honest to God, have gone up 10, a 10 count in the last couple weeks.
And you can't see 'em?
read one of them. So what I would ask, if you're one of the people that's left a review out there, you look it up. If you can see it, screenshot it to me and send it to me, and I'll read it. But
I do
don't
know one time, because I remember a long time ago, I mean, we've had this problem
Yeah.
forever. I do remember now that I did a little bit of research on it, and it is a known problem that these things are hard to find. I think it said one of the reasons can be that people that are in different countries,
yeah,
like
I do remember
different
seeing
countries, they technically have a different like iTunes. I know it's not
Right.
iTunes anymore, but they have a different Apple store than the rest of us. So the things that they're seeing and we're seeing can be different. So that could be one reason.
that could be part of it. Yeah, that makes sense.
It also could just be because it's through Apple Podcasts and it's this great
They're just
mystery.
deciding whatever they want.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that one either.
So we're not reading those to offend anyone. Not reading those to offend you. It's just because we can't see them. Mm-hmm. But keep them coming.
Keep
the number
them coming.
The number looks bigger, and really, that's all I care about. Makes me feel. I go to
like
bed at
big
night after
things.
chechecking the number and go, that Apple Podcast review number went up by 2.
I can sleep.
Finally,
I can sleep tonight.
finally, it's 145 star reviews.
Yep.
That's the tipping point.
This is what's going to do it
Yep.
for us. Tanner, I have something here that has been
Stewing,
stewing a little bit. And
athlete's foot.
no, worse. So Halloween was this past weekend.
Oh yeah, so, yeah.
And I've always noticed it a little bit, but it's becoming really popular lately. And that is something that people love to do. Now, I don't want to hate on people for doing
Right.
something they love to do. Everyone should be entitled and allowed to do what they love to do. But
You don't want to yuck their yum.
I don't want to yuck their yum, but also I
Let
don't want
me yuck
anything
their
to do
yum
with
a little bit.
yucking the yum. I don't want anything to do with that thing.
Yeah.
But what I'm talking about here is deadlifting in costumes. And
What? And it's always deadlifting.
it's always, you know what? I didn't even realize
You just said it, and it's
the,
like it
the
is always
note the
deadlifting.
note I made to myself was lifting in costumes.
Yeah.
And I just said deadlifting in costumes because I can't even really think of anyone benching in a costume.
No.
Like people don't do that.
No.
I don't even really can't even come to mind people squatting in costumes.
No.
It's just people love to deadlift in a costume.
Yeah.
And I think what it comes down to is deadlift tends to be the lift that people usually can handle more weight at.
Yep. And
So-
you can. It's more visual.
It's
as
more
far as
visual.
Instagram is concerned,
Yeah.
especially in comparison to a bench press. You know?
Yes. And squat, the rack's not in the way
Right,
and all that.
right.
You don't have that spotter hovering behind you while you're about
For
to
some
die.
costumes, squatting could be really difficult too. Like to position, like it's
Yeah.
a little easier to get in a deadlift position than it is a full deep squat. With
Yeah.
some of those costumes.
But there's just been this thing of everyone does it like it's like the funny, cool,
Yeah.
cutesy thing to do.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm just turning into an old man, but I don't really get it. It's not even really original at this point anymore.
that's kind of a big thing. It's very far beyond original.
Yeah,
It's
like I get, like to me, some of the first ones that come to mind, and I know they weren't even the first ones to do it, but probably I don't know, like 6 years ago, like I remember Silent Mike and Omar Isov had ones of like
Right.
in the Power Ranger suits.
Right.
And even then it's like, okay, yeah, I get it. You're in a kid's Power Ranger costume
Yeah,
and you're deadlifting. Like if that's what it takes for you to get hyped about something, sure.
Yeah.
But
But after like the 400th one you see, it's
yeah,
like,
but every year it's just like everyone's like, and people are like planning out like,
Yeah.
on Halloween, I have a big deadlift day planned in a pretty sick costume. So like,
yeah. Some of them are events, I know, like
well,
where people are having.
And I'm okay with
Yeah.
when it's events and fundraisers.
Yeah.
Because yes, you
if
are.
the gym is
there-
having a
there is a component.
a
of-
Halloween part, then it's like a party.
yeah.
Then that's a little.
But the thing, I just I have a hard time getting behind like, oh, we're gonna do it for the views.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we're getting our costume on.
Yeah.
Like it's like, but also everyone else is like, that's not. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too critical, and maybe it's just people trying to have fun,
Yeah.
and I sound like an old guy hating on everything. But
Yeah.
also,
Well, it just is very played, though, for sure. Like, even the people doing it could have to agree. Like, at this point, everyone has done it, and it's just like there's nothing that someone's going to do that you haven't seen already.
Yeah.
You know, there's like, it's just kind of it's run its.
it just. I think at the end of the day, it just feels really played out.
Yeah, right. It does.
And I know next year we'll probably have this exact same conversation.
Yep.
Because you know it's going to happen again, probably even more.
Yeah.
Because someone saw someone do it this year and they're like, oh, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
So then they're going to get on the train next year
Right.
and hop on that. But I don't know. This is probably the public service announcement that unless your gym is doing some type of fundraiser or event, don't dress up and just don't dress up and go to the gym and do deadlifting.
Right.
You know, just go deadlift.
It is funny that deadlifting just came out of your mouth, and that wasn't even like the planned
Yeah,
topic,
no,
but it is
the
just
topic
is
was
deadlifting.
It's lifting in costumes.
No, but it is deadlifting.
There's no videos of people like curling,
No.
which that one. I mean, I think a lot of people love to do curls, but
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing any videos of people curling in a costume. It's
No.
deadlifting.
That's very true.
So maybe next year, if people start squatting in costumes, maybe we'll allow that one. That one might pass.
That's what someone needs to do in order to
make it original again.
to break the mold a little bit. Be like, screw the deadlifting in costumes. We're gonna squat in costumes.
Flip the game
Yeah,
on its
we're
head.
going to tear all of the lower halves of these costumes in
just
half.
blow them
Yeah.
out. Yeah. Yep. Hopefully wearing something underneath.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I got that one off my chest, Tanner.
Yeah, it feels good.
The only other thing, we're already getting down there on time, and we have not even talked about big dogs.
Oh, that was that was kind of our central topic.
That was
almost.
kind of sort of supposed to be our central topic.
It might even be the title of the podcast.
It probably is. I mean,
what else have we talked about?
We
that
are
could-
50 minutes deep at this point, and we've
Sometimes the title of the podcast, people probably see it and be like, "Oh, that'll be interesting," and they listen and they're like, "These idiots ever talk
you made
about
me
that?"
wait an hour just to get to that.
Because what else have we talked about? What are the lifting in costumes?
Lifting costumes, rogue equipment.
Okay, yeah. So the title could also be like Black Friday deals of the century.
There we go.
And then people click on it and be like, "Oh, you guys also didn't really give me any specific Black Friday deals either."
Really no takeaway. Just didn't really have any takeaway from that entire episode. I'm trying to think of what I even just listened to.
Yeah,
That
that's
probably
kind of
is
what the podcast is.
That
though.
probably is the underlying message.
Yeah.
Of what just happened to me?
Yeah, that is the podcast in a nutshell. No, this is the podcast in a nutshell.
Help, I'm
How
in a
did I get in
nutshell.
this bloody nutshell?
I was just the other
Austin
day.
Powers.
Allow myself to introduce myself. I'm Richie Cunningham, and this is my wife, Oprah. And makes no sense,
Nope.
but it's Austin Powers. And the other one, I like, you didn't happen to see anything at all. I was talking to the blind attendant in the bathroom.
Austin Powers was very funny
You know,
in its time.
it still is very, very funny.
Yeah.
And probably the craziest thing is, I don't know, like I know there's comedians that could and would make that movie. I don't even know, like in this climate we live in, if that movie would ever come to exist now. Like,
I don't know.
We,
It's just-
like I was having a
it's hard to
discussion
picture. It
with
just
some
can-
friends the other day. Like, would Michael Scott's character from The Office even exist now?
They talk about a lot of stuff. There's a lot of jokes in there, especially the early years, which would be, it's like 15 years old.
Yeah,
those earlier
like
episodes.
2005, 7-ish, somewhere in there.
Yeah,
was
yeah,
some of the
like
first ones.
2005, I would
Yeah.
say. And they're talking about stuff that you probably don't put on like network sitcoms anymore.
Well, and like Michael's approach to like gay people is
That's
way
what-
different than like
that's the
what,
big thing is like for gay stuff that I'm like,
and he's not
I
like
don't think
he's
you
not
can
like
do that
being
anymore.
like violently
No,
aggressive to him. He just
no.
has a very ignorant approach.
Right,
Like,
right.
That is
The guy is
that is his
ignorant
whole
and, like,
character.
yeah,
He's
that's-
ignorant. He just
yeah.
doesn't know.
Right.
And so that's how they show everything. But yeah, like a lot of that probably wouldn't fly anymore.
No, I agree.
But he gets the pass because
And if you watch Seinfeld, there's a lot of stuff on there too that's the
I
same
don't-
way.
I don't
where it's-
doubt- I mean,
and that's
that's-
even older. That's 90s.
I was gonna say, and that's just starting to get to like any comedies.
Yeah,
like
right.
they start to get old. It's like
Yeah.
they're pushing buttons that people don't feel comfortable with anymore. But
Very true.
Austin Powers, Love it.
Yeah. How did I get in the Splitting That show?
What's the best Austin Powers, Tanner?
Oh, so the first one is The Spy Who Shagged Me. Is that right? Mm-hmm. And then so that would be with there's no fat bastard in the first one, right?
No fat bastard.
No Mini-Me.
No Mini-Me.
What's that guy? Vern Troyer?
Yep.
Is he still alive? Or
No,
did he
Vern
die?
Troyer, he died a year or two ago. I followed him on Instagram, and then
Okay.
I saw it on there, and it was
So
a
what's
sad
the
day.
second one?
The second one is... No, the first one... Isn't the first one...
It's just
The third one's Goldmember. Second one is...
so the first one. Who is the girl? The first one, the girl is the
It's
dark-haired
Vanessa
girl.
Cunningham.
Okay. And the second one is the
Heather Graham.
Yeah.
Why can't I think of the name of the second one?
I don't know. I think I'm picking like the first one is the one where he's like, "Who throws a shoe?" Right, where the Odd Job character throws a shoe at him and stuff.
Or is that
penis bump.
the end of the... Is that the end of the second one?
I don't know. In the first one, well, I guess this is maybe a scene in all of them where he's getting unfrozen from cryogenically frozen, and he's going
That's the
like
first one.
along the conveyor belt, and he's like peeing at the urinal.
Oh no, the first one is International Man of Mystery.
Oh, okay.
Second one is The Spy Who Shagged Me.
Okay.
That is God. That's okay. That's where I was getting messed up.
See. I want to say the first one is the best, but the Fat Bastard and Mini-Me were not in the show until the second one, I think, and they're a pretty big part of the what made some of the stuff funny.
Yeah, it's for sure. The conversation is for sure between the first and second one.
Yeah, right, definitely. I would think I'd say maybe the second one just because of Fat Bastard and
Mini-Me.
Mini-Me.
And that's when it was really hitting its stride.
yes, right. It's like, oh, this is great.
But also the first one like made all of
Yeah,
the bits. Like
right.
that's I will believe the argument on either way. They're both amazing.
Yeah. And I was like, for a split, it wasn't even a real thought in my head, but for just a very split second, I was like, who played Fat Bastard? And then I'm like, wait, Mike Myers played everyone in the show.
Yeah.
You know, it was like,
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
like everyone. Yeah, which is also a very odd
Yeah.
thing. But
it's funny. I mean, I could just quote. I'm just thinking of other scenes.
yeah,
Who does number 2 work for?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
taking
that-
a shit. Like just the tank of sharks with laser beams on their heads, and
isn't the second one then like, or is it the second or the first one where they're like, actually, and they're like, we couldn't get the sharks. It's like, what are these like or sea bass?
Yeah.
Are they
But they
ill-tempered?
mutant
Well, he goes, are they ill-tempered?
Yeah.
Very much so. Yeah, ill-tempered sea
just
bass.
the fact. I mean, this is like probably like at this point the least funny joke of the whole thing, but it just at the time it's so funny that he thought $1 million would be
Yeah,
like
so
great
much
to ransom
money.
someone for, and they're like,
And-
actually, like $1 million really isn't very
Because
meaningful
isn't
anymore.
it? Didn't they start like Starbucks or something, and that's where they have
yeah,
all their
yeah. He's
It's
like
we
they have a
actually-
really good legitimate business. Yeah,
And the other one, what's it? Frau.
but is it evil?
Yeah,
yeah.
And Frau Farbissina or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
She
yeah.
isn't it her? She's the leader of the militant branch of the
Yeah,
Salvation
yes,
Army.
that's right,
Like,
yeah.
So many just really, really dumb things. Yeah. And it's still just the I think it's the first one where he gets that cart stuck between the two walls.
Yes.
Like,
and he does the 4,000 point turn where
Yeah,
he can't get
yeah,
it turned around. Yeah,
could just go on and on.
I
about it,
could.
but
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people listening with us are reminiscing too.
Probably, yeah.
Like,
Yep. Classic stuff. But anyways, I think we were trying to talk about big
Yes,
dogs. I have
yeah.
no idea how we started talking about Austin Powers, but
Mr. Bigglesworth was a cat, and there was a wild cats this year at Big Dogs.
yeah, no. Big dogs did happen this past weekend. There was a total of like what seven participants.
lifters.
So
Pretty low number there.
not the biggest number they've had, maybe the smallest number they've had.
Yeah, it'd be the smallest that I would know about.
The projections, we both projected who our winners would be after very intense analysis,
Yes,
Tanner.
yes.
I believe I said I picked the first 3 on the list. I can't remember.
Picked, Odell, Yuri, and Dylan.
Yes. Yeah, I think I said Odell first, Yuri
Yep.
second, and Dylan third, I think.
Yes. So you picked Odell correctly. You picked the
Yep,
winner.
and Odell did win it.
And you picked Yuri third, right?
No, I picked Yuri second, I
Okay.
think. I think
Whatever.
I picked Yuri second.
Yeah.
Either way,
I picked Dylan Hellriegel to win it, and he did not. He got like 5th, but he was very sick. He was like apparently violently ill and lost like 16 pounds.
ooh, yeah. Not what you want going into a meet.
So that's my excuse for not picking the right winner.
But like you said, Odell did win it.
Yep.
Did Yuri get second? Or did
Yuri
he get
got
third? Okay. And who got second?
Graham Hicks. In his first ever powerlifting meet, totaling 24.25, the highest total ever made on a Massenomics rookie card.
And probably the highest ever first meet ever?
Definitely the highest ever, because I looked at the 12 people ahead of them, and none of them was from their first meet.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
He tied Thor for like the 12th highest raw total of all time.
Yeah.
And he did it in his first meet. Obviously, he's been a strongman for a lot of years. It's not like he just started lifting yesterday, but his first full powerlifting meet.
Yeah,
Put up the 12th
that's
biggest
a
total
very
of all
impressive.
time. Yeah.
I really enjoyed. We talked to, or I think we had a post mentioning it on Instagram, and Ryan said the first ever, or what did he say? The second ever strongman to do a powerlifting meet ever.
Ever. And he said ever like 3 times. It was an obvious joke.
Yeah, and someone was like, hello, Kazmaier.
Kaz, rattled off like 5, and the list goes on.
Yeah.
And I like a guy that regularly follows Massenomics. He's in on all our jokes and everything, and he just replies in a comment. He just goes, whoosh. Because it was like, like for a second, I was like, oh, what does he mean whoosh? And it's like, it's the joke going over the guy's head.
Yep.
And I just really laughed at once it hit me what he meant. I was like,
I didn't see that.
yeah. He just goes whoosh.
But I do like that.
Then after that, the guy deleted his comment.
Did he?
Yeah. He's like, it's always a matter of time before these comments get deleted.
I'll see myself out.
I'm never coming back here.
I've been had.
Yeah.
They set the trap and I fell for it.
And it was just such an obvious trap by Ryan, too. Is like the way he wrote it, he's like, no one has ever done this.
Well, when I saw it, I was kind of like, I wish I would have wrote that on there.
Right. It's funny. Mm-hmm. So not very many competitors. Odell, I think, was like 4 for 9. Yuri, I know, went 4 for 9. He got his opening squat, his opening deadlift, and I think maybe 2 benches. But he put up his biggest total of all time.
Oh, is that his biggest total ever? Really?
Yeah, what was it, 23 something? It beat his last meet. What had been his biggest total?
23.53.
Yeah. And which is good enough for third. And obviously the lightest guy to ever podium at Big Dogs, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
So the 3 podium totals were still all really high. Mm-hmm. I don't know, just not very exciting for me with no Americans in that mix.
That does take it out of it.
Before.
And just even names that we're very familiar with or even somewhat familiar with, we're just kind of missing.
Yeah, and all the people, all those guys, I talked about it last episode that I had hoped were going to do it and didn't do it. And what I kind of wonder is this on the up? After Big Dogs 4, is it on the upward tick or the downward tick?
Well, it just kind of feels like it's turning into this, like the Australian Invitational,
right?
Of not a federation,
right?
It's just a invitational Australian exhibition meet, kind of.
To me, this is the least exciting one that there's been.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's not to say next year they couldn't get these 5 big names and it's huge, and then all of a sudden it's the coolest thing that there's.
And it's 100% dependent on the people, and the performances,
and right. And I guarantee from the promoters, there's been no lack of I'm sure they sent an invite and tried to get every single cool big.
I think it's just turning into be like a decent amount of premier meets over the course of a year. Yeah. That especially if you live in this part of the country,
I want to fly to Australia.
I don't know. I'm assuming Australia. I don't know how long it takes. I'm assuming it's like 18 hours to fly there. Like it's kind of a pain in the ass to go lift for 3 hours. You know.
Yes.
When you could fly 2 hours to whatever part of the country you need to have a meet where you can win 20 grand or whatever.
Right.
So that makes it maybe less appealing than it was previously.
Yeah. And Odell Manuel, not to take away from him, but we don't see things about Odell Manuel. I follow him on Instagram even, and I still barely know. That's just...
It's just hard to even be a fan because it's what's there to be a fan of?
Right.
Like one Big Dogs performance a year and maybe some meet that I don't even know about.
It sounded like he was retiring after this was his last...
He's 41.
He's
still very strong.
Yes. Not far off of all-time world record total still.
Yeah.
But Yuri's getting really close to a 2,400 pound total. It's pretty crazy. And that's going
That's really crazy.
I only like barely saw this clip from somewhere else. It must have. So he got his first squat attempt, which was 925. Then there was some. I don't know if it was a second or third, but I saw a video of it, and he barely went down. Like it looked like a really bad multiply squat.
Really?
And so, because I saw a meme that someone said, "Watched West Side versus the World once." And like that was funny. I mean, I really liked that movie and everything, but it was funny. And then it shows Yuri doing this literally a quarter squat, and something must have been wrong or something like that. But it really looked like he just went out there and just quarter squatted and stood back up and was like hoping for a white light or something. It was like, yeah. But I don't know what his deal with. But he was really aggressive. Well, I think his second attempt, if you click on Yuri's name, or do you see all his attempts there? Or just
they don't have him listed on the meet, but
if you click on his name, he went from 925. I'm pretty sure his second attempt was 1,000 pounds. And you can tell me if I'm wrong on that or not, but I'm pretty sure
1,000.
Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that.
So,
and he tried it a third time, maybe.
Yeah, he tried it on second and third attempts. Yeah, but that's a huge jump. So he was very aggressive. And then on deadlift, did he only get his opener as well?
Yeah, deadlift just his opener. He started at 915 and then tried to go to 959.
Yeah, so that's probably normal jump for someone like that, I guess. But did he? What about on bench? Did he take a huge jump there?
So
too,
bench, he went 496, got that, 518, got that, and then tried to go 529, which those all make sense.
Yeah,
just that squat and deadlift, the squat. Yeah, the squat's the one that's really like, wow,
damn, because he could have left 50 easy pounds on the table there or something by not taking.
A 75 pound jump, or 78 pound jump,
right?
Wow, interesting strategy.
Yeah.
That's kind of Yuri's thing a lot, though, is that he only needs to go 4 for 9 in a meet to win.
Well, at big dogs in general, it doesn't seem like, and I think it obviously is part of like this real competition thing, like that everyone in the meet is like real competition for you winning the money or not winning the money. But I wonder, has anyone ever gone 9 for 9 in that meet ever? Maybe there probably has been. Maybe like Andre. Maybe Andre did one. Of the
I could see Andre doing it. But I think it's very.
But
unusual.
It seems like 4 or 5 successful attempts
is all
for the podium
takes,
finishers is usually what's in there.
Yeah,
that's without knowing the facts. That's just what I think about.
Just purely anecdotal, as they say.
Very, very much. Could actually be 100% false, but that's what I think.
Just the way it's going to be.
Yep.
Tanner, what else do we got? We're getting down there.
Should we do a little overrated, underrated action?
We probably should before we send the people on their way.
Yeah, before we kick them on out of here.
Mm-hmm.
So let's review quickly last week's overrated, underrated results from the Instagram poll. Topic number 1 was Denzel Washington. You said underrated.
I said underrated.
Came to that conclusion. People said 74% underrated. Pretty high percentage.
Pretty resounding.
Yeah. Taking notes. You said underrated. I know that for sure. 63% said underrated. I'm agreeing with you.
I'm a little surprised by that.
Yeah, that was a pretty garbage disposals. You said underrated. I think, right? 71% underrated. Also a pretty high.
Yeah, that is
percentage. Tabasco sauce. You said overrated, right?
See, I can't remember. I think I said underrated. I think.
Did you say underrated?
I think I did because I said ketchup and things they're everywhere.
Yeah, maybe that's what. Okay.
But also I don't know if because I was going back and forth because I said it's also the hot sauce you see everywhere.
Right.
I don't actually. I don't know what I said. I can't remember now.
2/3 of the people said overrated.
Okay.
So you might have been in agreement on everything. If not, you're pretty close.
Yeah.
There.
3 out of 4 ain't bad.
Oh. So this week's overrated or underrated topics are what I am looking up on my phone as I say this sentence.
Just looking.
This sentence with many rambling clauses. Okay. You're familiar with the rules, I think.
I have a general idea of how they work.
Okay. Well, I'll spare you the nonsense of me reading these long rules. Maybe an episode when we have a lot of time, I'm going to really give them the full read over again because it has been a bit. But I'm going to save you today for the sake of time. Topic number 1, overrated or underrated, Pringles.
Pringles.
The chip. The once you pop, the fun don't
Yep,
stop
once you
chip.
pop, you don't stop. I personally am not really a Pringles guy. I mean,
Me either.
if someone was having some party and there was a can of Pringles there and I was hungry, I'd eat them. You
Yep.
know, I'm not going to say I'm not going to eat Pringles, but
Have you bought a can of Pringles?
I could not tell you the last. Probably in college was probably the
Yeah.
last time I bought a can of Pringles. And even when it comes to chips, I am going to pick a lot of chips ahead of Pringles. Like a lot of chips ahead of Pringles. I'm saying Pringles are overrated.
I would agree.
I honestly forget they're even
Yeah,
a thing.
let's, my son Jack likes them, so we have them around.
They
sometimes.
do. I can give them credit though. They have their flavors a lot wackier than
Yeah.
than your
well,
old
and
chip
also
brands.
just what they did with the packaging and everything of a potato chip.
I
They
guess,
certainly
yeah.
found
like
a
a
void in the
bag. A
market.
bag is a little too environmentally friendly. We need to make this whole can tube thing instead.
yes. Have you ever done where you make duck bill lips with a couple of Pringles chips?
I'm familiar with the tactic.
Classic.
Yeah.
Okay, as long as we're on the topic of chips now, overrated or underrated? Card chip readers. Different kind of chip.
I actually had to think about
curveball.
it for a second. Card chip readers.
Yeah.
Card chip readers. They're in. Okay.
And the chips on the
Yeah,
cards themselves.
they're annoying because it takes so long, you know, compared to just swiping. You almost can't swipe anywhere anymore. Like I think there's a few gas
Yeah,
stations
not many,
occasionally,
yeah.
but you don't swipe very often. The worst thing about the card chip readers, and I noticed some are getting better about this, is that when you are done, just talking from like an user experience perspective, when you're done with the card chip reader, they don't go like ding, like to acknowledge that it went. It's
Yeah.
like,
Like-
and that
like,
is
oh, is that a
universally
rejected
that
card
is
over here?
universally the sound for something is wrong, something
Right.
didn't work,
Right.
and that's how it tries to tell you to take your card.
Right.
But that is the worst noise.
Well, and also when you're paying that gives me the feel of like, oh, does this guy have like declined credit card
Yeah,
over here?
that's
or-
what
Yeah.
you would associate
Right.
with something being declined. But that's how they do it, and I have noticed a few are like changing that sound.
Yeah, they should change that.
They should. A terrible idea to use that
Yeah.
sound. But card chip readers, they're really annoying. I actually, I'm very, very forward in my technological
Yep.
pursuits here, Tanner. I've started using Apple Pay. Once you get used to using that, it's pretty slick, actually. It's much faster.
Yep.
You just hold your phone over, double click the side, it sees your face, boom, pays instantly. Way faster.
Yep.
Way faster. No doubt about that. You don't have to wait for any card to read and then the sound.
Yep.
Like that all goes away. The only thing that's annoying is some places it's not immediately obvious if they have
If
it.
it takes.
Like a lot of the terminals I don't even know what the brand is. Most places, there's only a few different kinds of like payment terminals.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, some of them don't have tap as an option. And I don't know if it's just they didn't pay for that option or
Yeah.
if there's something in the software that they don't have. So that's annoying because sometimes you look stupid trying to put it down and you're like, oh, I don't know if this
Yeah,
takes it or
right,
not.
right.
Or if it is a terminal you're not used to, you hold it over one corner and it's actually the other corner. And
Yeah.
that is kind of an annoying.
They don't have it, and they're like, sir,
Yes.
what do you
And then there's that.
like, we don't have
"Ooh,
that here."
oh, what are you doing there?
Yeah.
Like I've
put that phone away.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we're not the
get that-
Jetsons.
Get that out of here. But I do believe that as it may be safer, supposedly, I still think that the entire experience is overrated and annoying. So card readers are annoying and overrated.
Okay. Overrated or underrated? We talked about it today. Deadlift bars. I don't think we've ever had this as a topic.
I don't
as
think we
know.
have.
Very well could have. You probably don't remember either, so doesn't matter.
Well, I think it is safe to say this, that until you're deadlifting like maybe 600, you might not even see a performance difference. It will for sure feel different.
different.
I
Yes, it
can
feels
feel a
different.
difference with
Yeah.
a deadlift bar in my hand.
It's a smaller diameter for
It is a smaller
biggest thing,
diameter.
so you can feel that when you grip it. You
and then
know? Yeah.
typically they usually have a pretty aggressive knurl too.
Right.
So you do
Feel
feel the difference of a deadlift bar in your hands.
right.
But as far as actually expecting any type of performance benefit from it, until you're someone that can start deadlifting in the 600s, I don't know if you'll ever see that benefit. You know, like my best deadlift ever is, like 545. I don't think if I did one or another on a deadlift bar, not on a deadlift bar, I don't think that number would have changed one bit. The thing that this is the thing that always annoys me with this stuff, with powerlifting. Powerlifting is the sport to see who is the strongest.
Yeah.
And then there came a point where it's like, well, okay, we've gotten as strong as we can, we think, with this set of tools. So
let's change those a little bit. And
let's make a bar that we think can give people a advantage to lift more so that the numbers are bigger. People are like, okay, cool, yeah, we can lift more on this bar. Maybe not, but some people seem to think they can. So, okay, so we have this bar. Okay, now, people could set crazier world records if we let them have 24 hours to weigh in instead of 2 or 4, whatever the standard was at that time. So, okay, let's do 24 hours so people can go insane weight cuts and then have 24 hours to put as much weight back on so that the record is almost meaningless at this point. Okay, so then we do that. Then it's like, all right, squats, people can squat a lot, but the hardest part of the squat now is walking it out. Let's invent this machine that makes it so people don't have to walk out so that they can squat more and get the part of the lift that's the hardest out of the way so that they can get back to squatting more. So like, let's add that in now too. And there's just all the and then you can look at whether, I don't know what the history of was benching is with heels on the ground versus toes on the ground, and if head's allowed and head not allowed, and if you have to wait for a start command or not wait for a start command, and how, there's just all these things that starts to like water down, like, well, wasn't the whole point of this just to see who's the strongest in the first place, not like to see who's the strongest under XYZ conditions or XYZ and another condition, like, and that's the most annoying part of it to me, is like, it just, again, fractures all of this stuff.
It's hard. When does the line get drawn?
Well, so if like a federation comes out with, let's say a federation comes out with 48-hour weigh-ins, you say, well, that's way too long.
Right. Or what about a bar that's 1/2 of a millimeter thinner and
even
6 inches
whippier?
longer?
Well, and like, or even okay, like in some of those Russian federations where they use the really wide plates and some bar that, I don't know if it's just because the plates are that wide
that it whips that much.
But like at some of these shorter guys are sumoing, and like their range of motion, once the bar's cleared the ground, I don't know if the bar goes more than 6 inches from the ground.
Right. Especially the last plates on the...
The last plates.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, he didn't lift 900 pounds. He obviously did, but it was under a very specific set of circumstances. And I don't know, it just kind of waters the whole thing down to me. And that's where these things all annoy me. But then when I look at it from, well, if someone's just training and they have a deadlift bar and it's a different tool and it makes working out fun, and it's something that keeps them coming back to the gym and they enjoy it, and that is something that adds to their enjoyment in the gym, then I'm like, well, then it's totally underrated, And that's where I'm coming at it from, is it's like just another toy to keep me coming to the gym. And so with all of that complaining I said, I still am going to say that a deadlift bar is underrated because it's just, from my perspective, another cool, tool in the toolbox to make training more fun.
Yep.
That was a very long rant for deadlift bars.
Okay, last topic on overrated, underrated. I don't know if you're going to know about this topic or not. If you don't, it'll be those episodes of television shows where you have to tune in next week to find out. This will be a to be continued overrated, underrated. And you'll just have to do your homework.
I hope I know.
I don't know. I could go either way. Overrated or underrated, Hobo Johnson.
I don't know what Hobo Johnson is.
So you'll have to. This will be a to be continued.
Okay, that's probably okay.
Yes, that's fine. So
Hobo
to
Johnson.
be continued.
Wow.
That will be topic number 1 of
next week.
It's number 4 of this week, and also will be
Number
topic
one
number 1 of next week. And
just wait, number 1 of underrated, overrated, or number 1 of the entire podcast?
we'll save it for number 1 of overrated, underrated. Then people have to listen to the entire episode to get to.
We don't want them to get the easy way out on this thing.
Right.
Hobo Johnson.
So to be continued. Hobo Johnson is your topic. So that will wrap up our somewhat inconclusive session of overrated, underrated. First time we haven't had left. Actually, in the rules, it does say you do have to. What does that say?
Provide an answer.
Yeah. But I guess you still will.
You gave me the out on this one.
Right. Okay, so Talking about our things, we already talked about a majority of our stuff, so I won't talk a lot about it, but we do have a few good sale items in our shop, and then we have new stuff coming for Black Friday, basically. So by the time you're hearing this, we're only a week or two out from that, right? A couple weeks, I guess. So we'll have a lot of cool new stuff. Stay in tune for that, but check out our sale items now and check out everything else that's all in stock. Like us on YouTube. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Like us on Facebook. And let's hear again from our sponsors. Today's episode was brought to you by Spud Inc. The goal of Spudding Straps is to make products that support sports performance and help everyone achieve their training goals. They make products that last forever, won't bust your budget, and most importantly, leave no doubt about success when everything is on the line. Check them out online at spud-ink-straps.com. This episode is also brought to you by Hybrid Performance Method. They're your one-stop shop for all things fitness and online coaching. Whether your goals are training-related, nutrition and body composition-related, or both, Hybrid has a program for you. With dedicated and experienced coaches in each strength and fitness discipline, you can rest assured that you're in the best hands possible. Use code MASS in all caps for 5% off any training or nutrition memberships for the life of your membership. Visit hybridperformancemethod.com. Today's show is also brought to you by Lifting Large. Lifting Large is your one-stop online shop for powerlifters, strongmen, Highland Games athletes, CrossFit athletes, and anyone that lifts iron. Visit liftinglarge.com today. There's free shipping on any orders over $60, and 99% of those orders are shipped the same day that they are placed. Thank you to our sponsors. This was episode 188. Make sure to also follow us on Instagram. Tommy, what's your IG handle?
At Tomahawk_D.
And you can follow the official Massenomics page at Massenomics. See you next time.
Later.